Hi Sean, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. How's the injury situation looking?
Still not amazing, but Woody's been out for a few days now training, so that's good. J-Rod had a couple of knocks we had to keep an eye on, and he seems fine. Johan, not yet. I'll be surprised if he comes through it by Sunday. Robbie Brady's a maybe. I'm trying to think who else. Barnes won't be for Sunday.
Chris Wood, Eric Peters.
Oh, Eric is touch and go
Ashley.
as well. Eric's touch and go. So we'll have to wait on that one. Oh, and Dale Stevens trained today, so we're hopeful on that one. So yeah, mixed bag really. But two or three maybe can figure. The rest we're still waiting on.
Having said that, has it been weird stroke useful to actually have a week between games?
Yeah, weird in the sense that we haven't had one, a break or a break of sorts. Yeah, I mean, it's useful really just in a bit of recuperation. I said after the last game we performed way off our mark and looked jaded, looked tired. It finally caught, I think it was 13 games in 42 days. We've got another 3 coming up, obviously, this week. So, you know, when you've got injuries, you are asking a lot of the players who are being rolled out there constantly. No gripe about it. You know, it's the challenges of what the situation is. We all know that. But equally, it's not a gripe, but it is a reality. There is a lot of games and we have had a lot of injuries.
Do you feel like a performance like that was always likely to happen at some point because of, as you say, the amount that you're actually asking of the players on such a regular basis at the moment?
Not necessarily likely, but possible, I would say. You know, you're putting out players who are constantly playing, constantly asking a lot of demand on them. You know, we've got all the stats, obviously, and all the figures for the outputs of the group. So, you know, there is a chance that they have a collective down day, as we call it, you know, and it just happened to be the last game. They've been really good in the training in the week. We gave them a couple of days off, a couple of days in, another day off, and they look a bit brighter and a bit brighter behind the eyes as well. So I'm pleased with that.
So we're going into the last third of the season now. You're 6 points clear of the bottom 3 at the moment. How do you view the position you're in and the rest of the season now in order to make sure that you are in the Premier League next season?
Well, really, you know, I don't look backwards all the time, but I do reflect on the sort of 2 points after 7 games. I think it was 5 after 8. I missed that myself, actually, in the last couple of weeks, but it was 2 after 7, not 2 after 8. And I look where we were then, both on and off the pitch, a lot going on off the pitch. A lot going on with injuries, and I look where we are now. So there's definite progression there. We've looked more like ourselves since that game. When I mean, look, not a massive surprise, but we were putting people on the pitch who played very little, and some debuts as well in the Premier League. So I think there's been a good shift since then. I think the consistency of performance has grown, and the level of performance. And now the challenges which we're familiar with is you've got to keep doing it. You know, you can't, because we've had a good return on points over the games after Game 7. You can't just think it's all going to work from there on in. You know, you've got to find different ways of working, different ways of operating. We've still got to get everyone fit. So yeah, the challenge is right in front of us.
And as you say, up against Spurs this time, who are a quality side. They've had a bit of a rough time of it lately, although they've had a couple of good results in Europe over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I've said many times, the manager, Jose Mourinho, someone I absolutely have the maximum respect for after what he's done, what he's won. A few question marks, but when you're him and when you're Tottenham, you always get that if things are not going as fluidly as what you'd like. They're still a top outfit for me, top manager, top outfit, top club. So it never makes it easy. It's just that if they have a quieter day, then you hope you have a very good day and you turn up and you can get results.
We've had a couple of news bits this week in the sense that, first of all, we're heading towards the possibility of getting fans back in the stadia, which could be only for the last fixture, although that's subject to possible change. How do you feel about that possibility? But obviously, your last game, I think, of the season is away at Sheffield United, and if they've got a stadium with a few thousand fans in it, that could make a bit of a difference.
Well, we'll have to wait and see where it goes, but it's got to be positive news if they're talking openly about big numbers being together, let alone in football, in any collection of people. It seems that's going to change. We all hope it does. And then if you apply that to football in the world we're in, then, I mean, look, first things first, you want to see people in stadiums, you want to see fans in stadiums. So we'll just wait and see how the rules open up. We're not going to stop the way it opens, I'm sure of that. No club's going to stop it as regards what you said about a football match, an individual football match. So I think we just roll with it as it comes. But the main thing is if beyond football, that is, for me. If people are allowed, hopefully, to go back into stadiums and in good numbers, then that's got to be a real progression from where we've been over the last, well, more or less the last year, if not coming up a year, I think it is.
Just finally from me, do you ever have any concerns about the security of your team selections? I'm not sure if you've seen this story about Aston Villa and some of their players perhaps having their players' fantasy football team selections monitored almost by spy programs. But do you ever worry about team selections leaking out, or do you know players that are there at the club that play these sorts of games? If you have any concerns about that?
It's fair to say I'm a big gamer myself, play loads of games, all sorts of games, loads of them constantly actually. I'm constantly on game machines and love all them things. The biggest challenge you've got of all, about fantasy football, I have no interest whatsoever in that, but the challenge you've got about teams getting out is just, I don't think players mean anything, but they might tell their agents, their family, their friends, their girlfriends, wives, whatever it may be. And it's, it's sometimes just loose lip sync ships. They're not. I don't think they're being vicious with it. Any player, certainly, or any agent. They just, chat and they divulge teams and situations or possible situations or injuries, etc., etc. What do? You want your team to be organised. You want ideally that they know they're playing, in my opinion, so they can rest and sort of prepare mentally for a game. I know some managers don't. Some managers leave it right the way till sort of an hour and 15 minutes before the game, maybe even an hour and a half. Name their team, but it'll still get out, I can assure you. So someone's going to send a message or tell someone they're playing. I think it's just part of the modern game. However, however that information goes out, I just think it's part of the modern game, part of modern life. Not much is contained in modern life now.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks, President. Sam at PLB. Hi, Sean. Good to see you. You seemingly enjoy a trip to London. Your side have won 4 out of the last 6 Premier League games there. Anything in particular about the capital that stands out?
No, I wasn't thinking of it like that, but that sounds like a good bit of information for us. No, I think we just go to everywhere in the country that we have to when we're away from here, of course, and challenge ourselves to try and play well. I've always spoke about performance markers. And even against the top sides, you're practicing at what you do against top sides, and if you get that right, sometimes you get a result, not always, but I think the performance is key wherever we go in the country.
The last trip to London was Crystal Palace, obviously a brilliant performance against them. Is that the hallmark of a performance? Do you look back at games like that and the Anfield victory when preparing for a game like Spurs, or do you actually look back at the sort of Fulhams and West Broms and how you can improve from there?
No, a bit of everything. We have to reflect on performances, but really we start looking forward very quickly. We don't dwell on them. We make sense of them as a staff. We debrief them with the players, not always when we choose to, more often than not, but not always. And then we look for what we can do next. And I've mentioned many times it's not an easy task. We don't. I don't think all of our games play out the same way. We're very good at Palace with and without the ball. Against teams who keep the ball more often, like if you're playing your Man Cities and the like, and your Liverpools and your Tottenhams, to be fair, Arsenal and the like, then it can sometimes be a different game format, but you've still got to find a way of winning. So no games are the same. Our format, we often change the way that we play to try and affect the game. And that's been my belief all along. Against Palace, we played very well with the ball. We played very well in possession, caused trouble. Obviously, we're strong at set piece as well. Other games, we've had to fight, we've had to work hard, we've had to play more simplistic to get a result. And other games, we've had to defend. Against Liverpool, we had to defend very well, very organised, and wait and work for our moment, which finally came. So, there's very few of our performances or our games are exactly the same. So we go down there with a game plan to do what we want to do and how to impress ourselves on the game. But sometimes, the opposition stop you from doing that. It's not your planning. It's just the opposition turn up, they're having a good day or a strong day, and they guide the game where it needs to go. So there's a lot of planning goes into your performance, but the players have got to be open-minded for what if it starts getting away from you? What if they play a different style or keep the ball more or whatever they might do? So we do plan on a game plan, organise a game plan, but the players have to be flexible-minded for whatever happens on any given day.
How difficult is it when you're facing what is clearly a very good side in Tottenham, but they're going through a poor Premier League run? So, Jose Mourinho and that Tottenham Hotspur side will be looking for a reaction, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, if they have it in different spells, in one way it's pleasing to see that everyone can have it in a different spell. Not Liverpool certainly didn't last season, but even Man City this season have been incredible at times. But they had that funny little question mark at the beginning. A couple of odd results, especially the Leicester result, of course. So in a way, it's kind of refreshing that they can have quiet spells. But you can never be naive enough to think that it's just your day when you play and have a quiet game and all works out, because these are still, you look at the squad Tottenham have got, the manager they've got, they're still a top outfit. So you have to be right on top of what you do. I know that, from the years I've been in the Premier League, you can't wait for things to happen against anyone in the Premier League, let alone the top sides and the top players. You have to make sure you're on every detail of your performance. And I think that's important for us.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sam. Dan, Radio Lanks.